losing your eye and having this injury didn't happen for no reason. There has to be a bigger reason, a bigger purpose. There has to be a way to help others with this. And I just kept feeling like there was something more with this story, or why would this happen? I felt like my life was clearly going in one direction, and I was newly sober. I was 10 months into sobriety, and so it just felt like, of course I had those thoughts like, why me? And I'm trying to do the right thing, and then this happens. But I was quickly able to redirect my thinking and really ask myself okay, well, from this, who do you want to be and what do you want to do with it? And that kind of set me on this journey of social media. It started, I didn't really know where to go or what that really entailed. I just had that voice that this is meant for something.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Alchemists with Evan Rundle. Today I have a very special guest. She's somebody that I met here in San Diego and is just blowing up. CEO, founder, entrepreneur, mentor, coach, Shelby. How you doing today?
I'm well, thank you, Evan. Thanks for having me on as well, and I'm excited to be here.
My pleasure. Well, let's get into it. I'm super pumped. We've been friends for a couple of years now, acquaintances, lots of same circles that we run in. And it's just been a joy to watch you kind of grow this business and as a person and as an individual. So let's just get right into it and tell me about Adhesive and what you do.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like we have, been in the same circles, and every time I'm because I'm just trying to move at this rapid speed and continue to evolve and to just let the business go where it goes. So I feel like I always have something new, and I see you, I'm like, oh, we're doing this or trying this. And so, but of course, when it started, it was do you want me to go back to the very beginning or just kind of?
You got time. While we're here.
So let's go to the very beginning. As and you can probably tell, I had an eye injury. We're coming up on, we just had the 4-year anniversary of the actual eye injury. And then on April 29th will be 4 years since they removed the eye. So
Wow.
There was a little bit of time between the actual injury to the date that they removed the eye. And so in that 4-year mark, and because there was time in between and there was a lot of recovery and a lot of rest, and my body was, going through a lot of, transitions from 2 eyes to 1 eye and healing. I was laying in bed a lot. I tell this story where I was kind of laying in bed 20 hours a day, saved my life in a way that I was getting these kind of insane downloads in a way of this. Losing your eye and having this injury didn't happen for no reason. There has to be a bigger reason, a bigger purpose. There has to be a way to help others with this. And I just kept feeling there was something more with this story, or why would this happen? I felt like my life was clearly going in one direction, and I was newly sober. I was 10 months into sobriety. And so it just felt of course I had those thoughts why me? And, I'm trying to do the right thing. And then this happens. But I was quickly able to redirect my thinking and really ask myself okay, well, from this, who do you want to be and what do you want to do with it? And that kind of set me on this journey of social media. It started, I didn't really know where to go or what that really entailed. I just had that voice that this is meant for something. So social media, shared my story. I started a blog as well too, as blogging my experience. And I rather quickly had people starting to formulate into this community that all have 1 eye. So I was sharing other people's stories in the blog. And I've shared over 100 people's stories from around the world that have lost an eye, either from eye injury or genetics or cancer or something from childbirth. And, so I was just blogging. I was creating a lot of content, and that all, felt really, really good and fun, but I just knew that there was even more, and I really did want to figure out a way to actually monetize it and to create a company from this. And so the first thing, just keep going. Okay. The first thing, so as the community is growing, and they, there was a lot of lack of resources for people that have 1 eye. There's some Facebook groups, but there was no real like community. There was no events or services or spaces outside of these like little Facebook groups. So I was like, I need a way to bring everybody together now that I have them all here. So we launched our first iConnect virtual conference. Yeah. So
When was that?
that was October 8th, 2022.
Okay. And what did you start?
The first post I made on the Adhesive Instagram was August 11th, 2021.
So a year.
A year, yeah.
Wow.
Yep. It was like exactly a year of just community building, of, being of service. I hadn't sold anything. That was the first thing that I like sold a ticket to. That was like, oh, like I can bring in money. And at the same time too, right on the back end of that first conference, we launched the line of t-shirts that say One Eye Gang on them. So it was like, now we're in production of t-shirts and hoodies and beanies. And so I have a whole line of clothing, merch. It's not like the main focus, but it's there. And so, yeah, so we did a conference with 26 people on. I was like, we're winning, it felt so good. And it was definitely like an all day thing. And since then we've had 2 more conferences. We've done them annually. And it's gotten just better and bigger every year as well too.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
That's amazing.
Thanks.
What a journey. And, there's so many things you said that I want to touch on, and I have some questions for you. And I think so many people can identify with that journey, even if it's not the same circumstances. So let's go back to the beginning on what it felt like, if you don't mind. We're going to go a little deep dive here on right after the accident. You're 10 months sober. What are you feeling at this time? What's going through your mind?
Yeah, it was very confusing and a very unsure, of the future. Like, I feel like I had really good care from the doctors, but like, nope, I don't know. They were like, yeah, you'll be able to drive. But there was just a piece missing where I felt like so unsure of my future, like what this meant, where I was going to go, what I was going to do. But then on the other side, I had surrender. Like I learned through the program of recovery 10 months prior, like how to surrender. And that was like my first real big moment to like put that into practice. And I just felt, when I share about this all the time too, when I really look back through, getting sober and being on that journey right before losing an eye, I can see how clearly like the eye injury was going to happen regardless. And I wouldn't have made it through something like that if I hadn't gotten sober prior. So it's like this perfect lineup. And then everything I've learned from getting sober and being of service and community has directly impacted my business today. So it's like...
So let's talk about that because, I too am in recovery, and I have seen a lot of people, myself included, be faced with adversity early on in recovery. And I think a lot of people go the opposite direction. Instead of doing exactly what you said, where it's like, hey, wait a minute, let me use these tools that I just learned and to the show Alchemists, alchemize this into something good. A lot of people use this as an excuse to go back out or relapse or cause harm to themselves and others. And at 10 months, I mean, you're a baby. And I think that it's so impressive when I meet other people that chose the harder path, right? And chose the uncertain path, and now is here in front of me to testify and to have this beautiful testimony that, like, guys, if you just get through it, you can come out the other side of this thing better and stronger and have more impact and more purpose than just going back, right? And you may not make it back.
Yeah.
Some people go back out and then they never come back. I've been in recovery for 19 years. I've seen a lot of people, unfortunately, choose the lesser option. And so good on you for like having that courage, because, faith is fantastic. But if you don't have the courage to take the action to meet that faith, then there's nothing can come from that. Like, you have to meet God or higher power, universe halfway, right? Like, God will do for us what we can't do for ourselves, but he won't do for us what we can do for ourselves.
Yes.
So anyways, back to you. So you're in this pain, you're in this uncertainty. The doctors are telling you all these terrible things. Did you have a moment that like you made that choice? And what was that like for you, where you did say, you know what? No, I'm not going to be a victim by this. I'm going to be a victor over this. Can you go back to that?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I don't know if there was like one moments or series of moments. Yeah, like I don't like there were, but I'm very vivid. There was like multiple moments that things like really shifted, and one of them, like I said, I just remember having this like feel this unexplainable voice, and I still get these. I think we all do. We get these like a tap on the shoulder, a voice in our head, something we can't explain, and often like they don't make sense. And those are like the hardest to listen to, and it's like for me, because of that and getting that feeling was like, this is going to be used for good. And I also like, it was such a challenging time to get through. And I felt so blessed that, again, I had built this entire community through our program that they were literally on my doorstep every day, helping me, taking me to the grocery store, driving. I didn't drive for 6 months, like driving me around, taking me to the doctor's appointment, just making sure that like I was taken care of. And so again, I had to, I mean, they were there, but I also had to ask for help, and I had to lean in and allow people to help. Like that's work that I do with a lot of my clients because they're afraid to ask for help. We're afraid to let people help them, because it is hard. Of course, we want to do things on our own, especially when we have our whole life and then you have an eye injury and it's like, okay, well now you need to learn to receive the help. And so, having that community just be there for me. Oh, going back. I was thinking though, I'm like, this is so hard. Like, I can't imagine doing this on my own. And I was thinking like, I wonder if there's someone out there like doing this on their own. And again, that was like that other intuitive feeling of like, I'm going to see if I can't somehow support them, So, and I knew social media was like the best way to try to reach people. I also, because of recovery, knew how important community is. And not just, it's like, okay, I have community, I've got family, I've got friends, and they were amazing, but they still, again, don't 100% understand what it's like to lose an eye. And although they were trying their best, like there was that piece missing where I'm like, I need to speak to someone or formulate some kind of little community, even if it's just one person that has lost an eye.
I love that.
Yeah.
So necessity is the mother of invention. You were at a crossroads where you saw a gap. You saw a need in the marketplace and in social media and in the community. And so you said, hey, I can't find this, so I'm going to create it. That's entrepreneurialism.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. You took literally nothing and turned it into something. And today you're helping, hundreds, maybe thousands of people?
Yeah, and we've like evolved again too. So I've really broadened outside of just the eye community, which of course I have. I mean, my whole following and a lot of my spaces are specific for people that have one eye. But now again, I have this like feeling that this is even bigger. And so it's like people that have had life-altering injuries are really now entering my space. And now I'm kind of creating more spaces and filling gaps in the marketplace that are really speaking to people that have had, any kind of disability or like physical difference at some point. But I really obviously resonate with my own story for someone that's like gone 30 years in their life and then has a car accident or has some sort of accident that like does change the trajectory of their life. And so like, again, bringing all of that community together.
I love that. So it started off for just the eye community.
Yes.
And now it's branching into maybe limbs that's incredible.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that. What does that look like?
Yeah. So right now, obviously we've done the iConnect virtual conferences and then things evolved and I started offering one-on-one coaching and mentor support. Again, this was all for people that have one eye or have one eye. And then I've got memberships as well too. So I've got 2 different memberships for people with one eye or the parents raising children with a blind or prosthetic eye. I get to this point and I'm like, realize people were always like, oh my gosh, you're handling this so well. Like there was like this energy of like what I've created. And I realized that like what I've created, obviously I needed help and support, community, connection, but also what like transcended my journey was this entrepreneurship, was the purpose, was building and creating and innovating and trailblazing. And so now I'm like, I want to help people do that with their own story.
Let's go.
So yeah, a lot of the people in my community now that have these life-altering injuries, I've got several people that have dog attack survivors, car accident, survivors, and it's the same thing. They have that same feeling of like, this didn't happen for no reason, and now I'm on the mission to lead, to empower others, to create my own brand, my own company from it.
How incredible is that?
Yeah.
So not only, let me see if I get this straight, because I really am impressed by that, because I didn't even realize that it was on that level. Like I'd done some research on your company, but so what you've done is not just create a community, which on its own is amazing, right? So like if, like I don't know if I told you this, but like I had a terrible injury with facial paralysis. Did I ever tell you this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for almost a year of my life, I was completely paralyzed for the whole left half of my head. And my eye wouldn't close. My ear was in agonizing pain. Like literally felt like someone had a needle with lava and was injecting it into my ear every single day. And I was, I think this is 15 years ago. So I was like 4 years sober, 5 years sober at the time. So similar to you, I was like, what the hell? What is all this for? And I found community as well. I found other people that had gone through this and found some amazing doctors. And then a friend of mine had paralysis right after I got it. So I was able to like help her. What I think is so fascinating about what you've done is now you've taken to the next level, because community is great and fellowship's great, but now you're going to these people and saying, hey, it's not just this community. You can now take this trauma, take this pain that you've been through and alchemize it and use it into creating a business for yourself.
Yeah.
Which I think is like, if you think about most communities, they don't take that extra step.
Yeah.
And I think you're onto something. Because think about how many other communities could do something like that, right? Where it's like not just about like, hoorah, kumbaya, water, feel better, but now let's actually get some practical steps to turn this and monetize it, like you said, into a business. Yeah. So let's get into that.
Okay. Yeah.
So we've talked about the macro level and we've talked about kind of the theme. Break it down on the micro level. What does that look like on it, just in your own walk? To monetize what you've been doing, the branding and the content. Talk to me about the business side of it.
From what I've done?
Correct.
I mean, or what I help my clients?
Both, whichever one you want to start with.
Okay.
Because one started before the other, right?
Yeah. So I've obviously done all the work, before, and now I'm like teaching my clients what has really worked for me, which, there, like I say, I'm like, there's a million ways that you can monetize your story, and it's like, I know people that do it on Instagram, through brand deals or through, just high volume of views and getting paid through Instagram. Like I could have got my blog monetized, and so there is like endless ways. I think people don't realize like how many ways. Of course, all of it's going to take work and effort. You're running a business, but what I really found through it is like coaching is like become the best way for me to really like grow the business, to serve on a deeper level with like the least amount of like overhead, could also like, merch or product. So coaching is like, you just need a computer, and you need to know like what you're coaching and how you're helping your clients. And so I really reflected back in that. I mean, conferences, like virtual conferences, like coaching doesn't have to just be one-on-one. It's also like memberships or, any spaces that you can create. And what's fun with it too, it's like, it doesn't have to be so like in the box, like it can really be different challenges or trainings. It can be audio, trainings. There's a lot that you could like do with it. And so I really started to realize that when I like launched the conferences, and then I had, at first before the membership became like official membership, I was doing these like monthly like free virtual meetups, and I did those for like 10 months. And somebody reached out to me. They're like, "This is a paid service."
They're
like, "You're giving sponsor for this." So this is literally a membership and a paid service. I was like, "Oh yeah." And so of course I like tweaked it a bit, and we added another call, and I kind of like gave it a little bit more result driven rather than just a meetup. Sure. And so there was like more, outcomes and structure. And once I made that shift, yeah, of course, like everybody really like wanted to join and get involved and be a part of the membership as well too.
Love that.
So that's what it's looked like for me to monetize, my story, and to create these different kind of coaching offers or spaces or containers, or just like holding that. And of course, like I want to do more in-person events and like retreats, and I am launching a product as well too.
What do we do?
The original idea because I didn't even know about the coaching industry. I didn't know that existed. at all. And so, of course, like laying in bed, I wanted to like, connect with people, build this community. And then my idea at that time to like monetize it was like, oh, like putting a product on the market and having a product-based company. And at that time I was using adhesive eye patches that stick on the eye.
Which I also used.
Yes.
So you're
I was going to ask.
Is that a ever?
Yeah. I was going to ask
So the
you.
adhesive, worn eye patch, a whole 9 yards, had to have earplugs, the whole thing. Yes.
Yeah. When you were sharing that, I was like, I wonder if people wear eye patches.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And there was nothing good in the market.
Yeah.
I wish I would have known you got it.
I know. I'm like,
terrible.
Yeah. Like these are ugly or very kid friendly. Yeah. Uncomfortable. And I hate the ones that bend. I'm like, I'm very like sleek, like sexy, like sporty little patch that like sticks on the eye. And so that was the original idea. And that was all it was going to be. But again, I have like no background in manufacturing or getting products. And so it's taken me a very long time to really figure out how to get the product and get it manufactured. And so in the meantime, while I was, working on that, the community was growing and building and then all of the things. And now finally we have the product that's completely finished in production on its way here. We're going to do a big, launch and reveal of that here in the next few months. So yeah. And what I really am hoping and really happy about is like the product, it's like people go to Amazon to buy the product and then they're going to find out that like, oh, they have like a built-in membership or community space that they can also enter into, or vice versa. So like, I don't know any community spaces that are so niched with a specific product that like it's, I don't know. Yeah. So I kind of love that business model for other people that are out there running businesses and have a product, like adding a membership with it, if that's something.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing something similar in my company. So we're going to have a membership and we're also developing some software to potentially help people. And the software will point to the membership and the membership will point to the software. Yeah. But I like the physical product.
Yeah.
Because physical product, that's Amazon, that's dropship. So talk to me about, because again, you found a gap. So it's like, not only did you build this one thing, you found another need for this other thing. So talk to me about the first part of that. What mistakes did you make? What was it like on this product getting started and how did you get it now to completion? I mean, there must have been peaks and valleys in that journey.
Yeah. So I've been like so blessed on that, but I do think that maybe that's why it's like slowed down, which I've really, with sobriety and what I've been doing, it's just like this surrender. I'm like, if it's meant to be, it's going to happen. And when it happens, it's going to happen. And I think that's like kept me in a space. I'm not like, it's going to happen when it happens. And I've been so busy with the community as well too. And so that's felt really good. And where I've been so blessed, like I'm at the beginning, like Googling everything about Band-Aids, adhesive eye patches, like products, blah, 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 of like all over on the internet, trying to find something that will work. I come across a company that makes patches for diabetics, for insulin pumps. I like look at their website. I'm like obsessed with like their branding, their mission, the story behind it, everything that I'm like, I literally want this company and I want their patches just in one that's shaped for an eye patch. And so I emailed them and I'm like, can I talk to the owner? And so they're like, yeah, here. And so I ended up connecting with the owner of this company. We've been in contact. Well, at first he was like, so, we spent an hour on the call. He's like, check out this, do this. This is a good idea, blah, blah, blah. Very like, here you go is what I'd suggest. And so then I went off and was like kind of running, but also was like, I can't remember, not doing too much. And about, I don't know if it was like 6 months or maybe closer to a year, he reached back out and he said, hey, I just want to check in. How's it going? And I was like, oh, it's been kind of challenging. I've had all this great, amazing stuff with the community is going on, but I haven't made much headway on the product. And
sure.
He said, let me help you. And so he like stepped in. He's been like a literal like angel, like just helping hold. I know. I don't know if he wants me to like give out too much information. I haven't. Yeah. We never talked about that, but so
you know who you are.
Yes. Yeah. He's just been very, very helpful in getting this like, yeah. And he, made this comment to me at one point too, that just like, I can't wait to be able to do this for an entrepreneur. But he's just, I see so much in you. You know, he's like, I started at 22 years old. He's also a diabetic. So, of course, his story, you know, really correlates to the brand that he's created. He's like, I was shipping things out of my, you know, dorm apartment or my little apartment. And he's like, I just like the fact that you reached out and asked all these questions, and then like a year later, maybe you haven't like fully done that, but you're still in it. Like, you're still, he's like, so many times people reach out and have all these business questions and ask me, and then I check back in and they haven't done anything, you know, not going anywhere. And he's like, I just feel like I could see your drive, your determination, and that you're actually like putting in the work. And it's like, I really like, I'm inspired and I want to help. Like,
I love that.
So
I love that. So what a great journey. So,
yeah.
you know, again, you found something that was missing. You did what we should all do. Go on Google. You found someone that you could model. I think modeling is so important. And I think that ties back to being teachable and asking for help. I know for me, I kept myself from achieving things for a long time because I had like chip on my shoulder. I got to do it all. And there's so many people out there that are willing to help, that want to help, that want to give back. If you're new, if you're an entrepreneur, just reach out, cold call, Google, you know, email, DM, and, you know, be vulnerable and ask for help, and look where it got you. I mean, it probably saved you what, years, you know, of time.
Yeah.
And now when you do get even more successful, you're already successful, but he knows he has an ally in you, and there's going to be ways you guys can help each other. All ships rise.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. I really see that as like, you know, and I, you know, listen to so many older entrepreneurs, you know, that are very successful, and to hear that it's always the part that's like so interesting to me. It's like not just like networking, but it's like how they've been able to help each other get, you know, higher into business, or just those connections. And yeah, it feels like I'm like at that foundational level, even with like, I'm in a mastermind as well too. So I have a mentor, and all the women in my mastermind, we were just in Costa Rica together, and it's just like this bond of like, we're going to be like on each other's stages, speaking, like doing all this stuff, and be like, someone needs something for some, you know, and it's just like, that's, I don't know, that's like one of my favorite part, is like that connection, and to really witness people grow. And I can't even imagine like where in my mastermind we'll be in a year from now all together and stuff.
I love that. And I think that speaks to abundance versus scarcity.
Yeah.
I know for a long time, especially like when I started my company, it was very competitive. And there was a lot of large VC companies that were just like mowing small mom and pops like me over. But now what I have found is the more that I do exactly what you said, where I trade secrets with other people in my community, best practices, networking, masterminding, that like all of a sudden all ships rise. And you're not as vulnerable to somebody kind of taking your thing, because you have this community. It's like a herd, right?
Yeah.
It's like in recovery. It's like if you stay on the outside, you get picked off.
Yeah.
But if you're in the center of the herd, like you're good for a while. And I would just encourage new entrepreneurs to do that same thing. It's like, don't gatekeep. Don't like hold and try to like, you know, keep everything to yourself. Like give it away. Just again in recovery, it's like give it away to keep it, right? So let's talk about that. Let's talk about mentorship a little bit, because and you answered a ton of stuff without even me having to ask you, but I've had several mentors, and shout out, you guys know who you are, that helped me get to where I am. What did that look like for you? And now how are you doing that for others? Because you mentioned you're not only mentoring others, you're teaching others how to mentor. So it's like layers of mentorship. So talk to me about that.
Yeah. I mean, mentorship like changed my life, you know? So it's like, and again, that was one of those little voices in my gut that was like, you know, spent a year building the community. There was like a good following happening, and I wanted to do this virtual conference. And so I was like planning for that and prepping, and, you know, not really knowing what I'm doing, but like, whatever, we'll figure it out. And something, that voice was like, you need a business mentor, you know, like, of course, I hadn't heard of it on podcasts or show, but I didn't really know what that even meant, or like why, because I didn't have it, you know. Anyway, so I just internet searched, or actually, there was a girl that I knew. She was a yoga instructor, and I was following her, and she did a story, and like shout out to her mentor, and was like, and so I messaged her, and I was like, wait, who's your mentor? I want a mentor. I'm like, all
At a mentor store, like, we're on. But I get a mentor.
yeah. And she shoots me this woman. I get on a consultation call with her. I buy immediately. I hadn't even done, any shopping. I was just like, yes, great. Like, I didn't know there was more than one. I don't know, which was great. I was just like, yeah, let's go. So we get on and she's been great. She's like helping me, get better at, creating this conference and setting goals and messaging and marketing, blah. And about halfway through our coaching container, she was like, you need to mentor these people. And I was like, me? I was like, there's no way. And she knew about even my sobriety and being a sponsor. And so she's like, Shelby, like, you are like the perfect person. And she really like gave me that push. Like I went way before I was ready, before I thought I was qualified, before I thought anyone would pay me to work with them or to help them. Like all of that, those thoughts of like just not being qualified good enough or trying to like sell myself in that space. And so gave me that push. I went out there on the internet. I sold an offer and someone bought. I was like, oh, all right. Well, maybe there is something here. Yeah. Then of course it's like, that quick instant win, which is great. And then I go out to do it again and get rejected a bunch and get no's and get ghosted and like, up and down, but I stayed consistent. I'm like, I got this. I do have something. I like refined what I was teaching and who I was helping and how I was helping them. And yeah, like it was, that one conversation, like I wouldn't be here today if she hadn't been like, yeah, go do this. Like, I see you, and that is mentorship. And my mentor it's a different woman I have today, but she says that all the time. She's like, literally mentorship's just looking at someone and be like, I see you and you can do more. Like, get up, let's go.
That's the clip right there.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. And it's so funny, like you never know how one conversation, think of that ripple effect.
Yeah.
Right. And you just never know what conversation is going to change the course of somebody's life. Mm-hmm. And that one conversation has now going to help through you how many people?
Yeah, I mean, through that one-on-one package, package that I had that I just sold on repeat, I've had like over 40 clients through that, and then it's like, and a lot of those clients actually are in the 1IR membership now too. So they're still in my world. And then now it's like the next evolution as well too. So yeah. And I think what was important, stepping into that role, having that experience is like, since I had that first mentor 3 years ago when I hired her, I haven't gone without mentorship. Like I jumped a little bit or had a couple different ones, and now I've had the same mentor for the last year. And that's who I'm like in the mastermind with and just in Costa Rica and know all these women. And it just like, yeah, it just taught me like that was so invaluable, like those conversations. And so being able to like, to stick with it, too.
And I think that's such a good message that, there's seasons in life and people are there, for a page, a chapter, or the whole book.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with having a mentor in the short term and then saying like, hey, you know what? This was amazing. Thank you for everything you've done. But now I have this other mentor over here that has more of what I want or different level or different thing. And like, it doesn't mean this one was bad or wrong. And I know I've struggled with that. I know a lot of people in the recovery community struggle with that. It's like, find the people that have what you want, right? And stand on the shoulders of giants. And it doesn't mean that the person that you're leaving the mentee on, that they're bad or they're wrong. And plus, if they're a good mentor, they want you to do that. Yeah, that's the craziest thing is like people that I help, they work with me. It's like, dude, if I'm not the best person to do this for you, please go find who is. Because I don't want to be responsible for holding you back or not letting you achieve your highest and greatest. Yeah. And people want to see other people win. Hate usually comes from below. It usually doesn't come from above it. People that are above you want you to level up.
Yeah.
But speaking of level up, you touched on something a moment ago, and I want to circle back to it on imposter syndrome. Because God knows I have felt that so many times, even like what we're doing right now. I'm quite literally pretending to be a podcast host and therefore becoming a podcast host, right? Like, so talk to us about that. Like, what did imposter syndrome look like for you? You just mentioned it until you got on that stage. And how do you overcome that?
Yeah. Yeah. I just heard something like that, this mastermind that one of the women shared in her talk. And she's like, it's not fake it till you make it. She's like, it's just be it till you see it. And I'm like, oh, that feels good. Just like be that version of yourself now. And then you're going to see it. And so I don't know if that would have it's much easier for some of that stuff to click because I've already like pushed the envelopes so much. Yeah. And I'm like live in this realm of like just being courageous all the time. And so, but back then, yeah, I guess it was really like continuing to be in the spaces like with the mentors and really like being able to see that like, okay, I can do this, and really strengthening like my inner knowing, I guess, or inner conviction. And that just comes with doing the thing, you know, over the time, and like to continue to like keep moving, and being like courageous, like that scary little thing that keeps, you know, coming up. I'm like, now just like go do it. Like, yeah, again, send that DM or send that email or call that person, or even bigger, like sell that offer, put it out there, you know, like create that piece of content, say that thing on the internet that you're like want to say but you're scared to say. And so it's just that, which then creates more of this like inner knowing and like power within. But you know, at the beginning, I think we all, and there's new, like, what, new levels, new double, I say, or something. So it's like, I'm sure, you know, there's always a bit of that not feeling qualified or ready, but just, I think the people you surround yourself with does really help. And the more courageous you can just allow yourself to be, really helps too.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to the higher the levels thing, it's like, you know, hindsight's 20/20, like you said. And until I get to these new plateaus, I can't see the next plateau.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if you're standing at the bottom, you're only seeing the first peak.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch more after that. But then you get to look back and be like, wow, I thought this was impossible. I didn't think I could do this. And look where I am. And then there's usually a little bit of a valley, right? And then there's the fear and the uncertainty and the doubt. And then there's the surrender. And then it goes back to the next peak and valley. And
Yeah.
I just want to encourage people out there. It's like, just take the first step.
Yeah.
Just take action. Just do the thing. Like, you hear the expression, like, a surgeon isn't a surgeon until they make that first cut.
Yeah.
Like, just do that one cut. Yeah. Like, you don't have to do brain surgery necessarily. Just do like the little cut first and then work your way up. So
totally. And to add to that, yeah, I help my clients with that all the time, because it's like we so want to be doing like something way out here, but it's like you're not going to feel like an imposter if you are like talking about something that you're so passionate, like that you already know. So it's like that path of like least resistance. Sometimes like, and I do this, like I shoot way out here for something, and then that's when I start to feel a little wobbly or shaky or unqualified. But when I pull it back and I'm like, okay, Shelby, what do you know today? Like, what are you so embodied? What can you help someone with today? What is so easy for you to like talk about? And I show up with that. Like, that's where I like build, you know, up to that too. And so it's like really connecting with not like way out there and something you don't feel confident like teaching in right today. The best way, I think, is just, you know, so you feel like I'm not an imposter because I know this like the back of my hands. You know,
Yeah.
I can easily teach someone how to do this or show someone or help someone here with this.
love that. So fantastic conversation so far. I want to get into the habits and mindset today, right? We talked about how you got here, this incredible journey, and, you know, there's push-pull motivation. So you're still pulling from things in the past. You should push into things in the past, pulling towards things in the future. But what are like habits look like for you today? Because we don't always feel motivated. We don't always feel empowered or passionate or driven. God knows there's days where it's a struggle just for me to get started. What are the habits look like for you today?
Yeah, again, they're like some weeks are better, some days are better, but I'm definitely, you know, I work out or do yoga. I get in some like physical state. And I really, the more I was just at a conference in Vegas, and Tony Robbins was speaking, and he was just speaking so much about like your physical state. And, you know, of course, I've always known that that was important. And I'm not like waking up at 5 a.m. to work out. Like, I'm not, like, I don't think I'm that good of an entrepreneur, and I've tried, but I do make sure that like every single day I'm getting in that physical state within my body, and sometimes multiple times. Like, if I catch myself in the middle of the day, anxious, overwhelmed, feeling stressed or too much to do, it's like, oh, just go for a walk, you know, or put some music on and dance, like get out of my head and into my body. But yeah, so just working out, or do a lot of yoga as well too. So that physical state, you know, I do try to like nourish my body and eat better and drink more water. And I'll definitely say I'm not like, or go to bed earlier or read more, like all of those things that you hear on podcasts. Like, I try, but I also like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be like so rigid, you know, like sometimes I stay up too late watching a Netflix, like, murder doc or something. But I do think that I bought those few non-negotiables, which is really taking care of myself first. And then I have like non-negotiables like in the business too, where it's like I'm posting and promoting and selling every single day, and it's just like if my business and platform isn't moving forward with that awareness or sales coming in, then it's like it's kind of like think about like sobriety, like it's like of course sobriety comes first in my overall life, but with business, like if business and money is like not coming in first or that awareness on the business, then it's like I have nothing, it's like, so of course I have clients and other to-dos and emails to send and whatever to fix. But if I'm not like forward facing in the business first, then none of that like even matters.
100%. Yeah. The main thing to make.
Yeah.
And act your way into right thinking. I love what you said about just the physical stuff, again, like I know every podcast in the world talks about these things, but I do think it's important. And I do think seeing it through different lenses is important, right? Because it's all the same truth, but how it shows up for us is different. And I think what you talked about also is important about not being perfect at it.
Yeah.
Because perfectionism, man, that shit can bring you down so quickly, especially people that are in recovery or have any kind of mental stuff going on where it's like, 80-20 is fine.
Yeah.
If I'm doing 80% of the stuff, or 100% of the stuff 80% of the time, like there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's hard lines in the sand, like you said, the non-negotiables.
Yeah.
But the rest is a work in progress. Yeah. And I think for me, for sure, like perfectionism can be brutal because it robs you of just being like pretty good. Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
Pretty good is great. It doesn't have to be batting 1,000 every single day. You never get up to the plate otherwise.
You're right. Yeah, it's to say pretty good's better than nothing,
100%.
Though it's like I've looked at contents and even still post a content moment that's kind of cringy, or not perfect or whatever, but it's like I don't care because it is moving everything forward, and I'd rather, look back at all this cringy content that I posted, and I'm way out here than still holding back or waiting or wishing that I had started sooner or just posted the content.
100%. Oh man, my first episode, I've watched it back. Like, I don't really want to post it. Lighting was bad, the audio was bad, and I'm only on episode 7. I'm sure by 70, I'll look back on this one and it'll be cringy. So what advice would you give to people? Because I know content is a big part of what you do.
Yeah.
And I know I struggled with, what people are going to think of me and putting myself out there and haters or whatever it is. And I found out that like no one cares. Like, no, I'm not that important. Like nobody gives a shit, dude. So what advice would you give to people that are right at the edge? They want to post content. They want to put themselves out there, but they're holding themselves back. What would you say?
Yeah. Well, it's funny not part. Like I'm like trying to get hated on. I'm like, I want some hate. Yeah. Cause they're like, like, like hate's not bad, cause it means you're doing something, and it means that like you're stirring up some feathers, and I'm like, that's not a bad thing. It's like, it's okay to get hated on because I just feel like you're doing something. And of course, not everyone's going to love what you're doing. And so equal amount of hate's going to be equal amount of like, people loving it or needing it. So that when it comes to, yeah. And I think what it is for me, at least, it was really like being, misunderstood. So it isn't deeper, it's like these like little like childhood trauma, things like that. It's like so much deeper than just like a piece of content that you're worried about posting. It's like, okay, what is underneath that, and for me, it's like, yeah, little Shelby was like misunderstood her whole life, and now it's like I want people to like understand where I'm coming from. They need to understand. It's like that approval, and so, and like the doubt. But again, that comes like from this like younger like child like Shelby, and so I think that's really important for people to look at as well too. And because also like we were saying, like then there's like a shame cycle that happens. It's like, okay, you want to be posting and you want to be taking action, but then you don't, and then you're like shaming yourself for not doing the thing you said you were going to do, and then you don't trust yourself for not doing this, so it's like all of these things. And so I think just like being able to like kind of backtrack and be like, okay, well, why am I actually not doing this? Like, what's the underlining fear or thing that happened? Like maybe you can even pinpoint certain moments in your childhood where you're like, oh, maybe that's why this is coming up. And allow yourself to kind of like work through that and to heal that. And I say like for me, I'm like, running a business has been like the best form of like therapy, I guess, or like healing trauma, because in a lot of different ways, I've caught like younger Shelby like coming up, like not just posting, but even in like social, like you were even saying, like kind of with the lack, or with like being in groups with people and feeling left out, or like these girls are making more money or doing it better or look better, you know? And so it's like, and I've had to work through all of that like on the spot in these moments throughout business. And I'm like, dang, it's like, it's not even, you know, I'm realizing too, it's not even like the destination, is like who you're becoming, you know, along the journey. And so if we're looking at every piece of content and what you're putting out there is like who you're becoming, and all of the pieces, the journey, you know, I think that's really valuable. See, that was kind of a long tangent. And the other thing, this might be even more help. That's really helpful. But the other thing, especially if you're, I think for anybody, the moment I started thinking, like, this content's actually not about me. It is for my dream buyer, my dream client. It's for that person in my audience. Like, what do they need to hear today? What then this for them? How is this going to get them one step closer to where they desire to be? Anything like that. Like when I like stop making the content about me and I start making it for people I'm here and meant to serve. Like, it doesn't matter what I look like. It doesn't matter, like, if I'm sweaty or, you know, or whatever. And so that's really helped.
God, it's such Jeffrey. And thank you for saying that, because even as you're talking, like you're helping me right now. You're like reminding me, because man, that self-centered fear is brutal. And I know like in recovery, we touch on that, but even not in recovery, I don't care who you are. Self-centered fear affects every single human being. We all have an ego. We all have inner child stuff that it rears its ugly head. And man, getting out of that and into service is jet fuel. It's the secret weapon. It's the secret handshake. Anytime I do anything content-wise or otherwise, even before this podcast, I pray and I'm like, you know, God, I just want to be helpful. I want to be of service. Get me out of me. Yeah. And what happens is all the things that you were scared of, either A, they don't happen, or B, they do and you build more character and resolve anyways. But the interesting thing is all of the things that I wanted to emanate, all the authenticity, you can't be understood if you're not being authentic. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So if the goal is to be understood, but you're trying to portray this persona, they're never going to understand you. They're just understanding your avatar. Yeah. And who wants that? That's exhausting. So I'd rather be like viciously authentic and vulnerable and expose myself to potential hate and drama and all those other things. But just by being of service, what happens is the thing that I wanted to show ends up showing anyways. Yeah. Because I wasn't trying, because I'm focused on you. How can I be curious? How can I learn from you in this moment? How can I show up? And I don't just mean you, Shelby. I mean like you, the listener, you, the person. And I would just encourage anyone, like, if you're struggling, if you're at that part where you just want to post, but you don't know how to get through it, just think of the one person you might help. Yeah. And then fucking post. Yeah. And then it's not about you. Then let it go. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for that reminder. Because God knows I get trapped in that self-centered fear on a daily basis, I'd say. What is your current motivation? Like, what would you say that like kind of drives you today? I understand where you came from, but like today, what is your motivation?
I just see like a big vision. It's always kind of been big, but just like every day it almost gets bigger and bigger. And I just am in this like, I want to just see what happened. Like I want to like go there, and like, why not? Why not? You know, why not me? Why not? Like, so I'm just like in this energy of like, and I think we're maybe built differently. I don't know, as like an entrepreneur, when we get into that space where it's just like, I don't think I could just, there's times when it gets really hard and I'm like wanting to quit and throw in the towel, and then I play the tape forward. I literally do the same thing with my business, where I play the tape forward and I just can't imagine doing anything else. It's like I kind of cut the plan B. I had a plan B at the beginning,
which I love,
which was just like, I guess going back to, you know, getting a job, or going back to I mean, I do teach some yoga now, so it's like
by choice.
By choice, yes.
Like you don't have to. Like you could just do what you do and you're fine.
Yeah. I mean, I do. I'm in a I love teaching yoga, and I have a few at like a mental health facility, a boys rehab facility, and then at Core Power as well. So at the beginning it was like, just going back to yoga or getting, a regular job. But I really entered this space where it's like all or nothing, and I can't imagine doing anything. And I've allowed myself to like cut that cord. And as soon as I did, it like freed. I'm like, oh yeah, we're going. And there was another cord I had of like this time frame of like, if it doesn't happen in a year, if by this time next year it's blah, blah, blah. And then I realized like, if this is what I'm meant to be doing, and this is my gift from God, and I see this bigger vision, like, why does it matter how long it's going to take? If it takes 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, like, wouldn't that be better than like cutting it off in year one because I didn't see the result that I wanted? 100%. And there's always the result, like there's a million results along the way. And so I just, keep looking for those results and that evidence that it's like where I'm supposed to be going. So
100%. And no one has a crystal ball.
Right.
So if you're setting these lofty goals that like by this age or by this time or I have to do X, Y, and Z, it's like you might even be selling yourself short.
Yeah.
God knows I have. Like if I look back to, 14-year-old Evan or whatever, no way could I have projected into this reality that I'm in right now, right? Even 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. So it's so important, like you said, just broad strokes, right? It doesn't have to be like a sniper. It can be more of a shotgun. And then just keep going forward.
Yeah.
And I love that your motivation today is like that pull motivation, because nothing wrong with some good push motivation. Like when I'm angry or resentful, I want to go to the gym and lift heavy, whatever, great. But I think if you can tap into the pull, and again, it's bigger than you and it's elevating, you're expanding, that's also jet fuel.
Yeah.
Because then you're not just relying on your willpower.
Yeah.
You're relying on things that are bigger than you that you're going towards.
Yep.
So I just wanted to kind of say that as well for the young entrepreneurs out there. Find some pull, find something that's going to draw you towards it rather than running from bad things.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And I love how you articulated that. And that's 100% it. And I, going back to this mentorship or being around like-minded people, because I think it would be really hard to stay in that or to see that bigger vision or to keep getting pulled without I'm not doing it alone and I'm asking for help. So it's back to the beginning of that.
Even still, I mean, billionaires ask for help. Billionaires during a business coaches sale. I mean, who was it? I just saw an interview of, it was some famous musician. I think it was one of the Beatles. And he's like, I still don't think that I'm that good of a musician. And I'm like, you're a Beatle. You're like, what are we talking about? So I love that. Well, cool. So, all right, I got some speed rounds for you. Top 5 books.
Oh my gosh. So I'm not like the best reader, but definitely the Ed Milet show. I do listen to, my mentor has a podcast, Bridget James Ling. Forget what the podcast, probably business coaching something. But you know what books I like really like is like the series, like the Girl Wash Your Face. I don't know if you read the these. She's got a couple. It's drawing a blank on her name, but she's mega out there. She's a public speaker. But she wrote a whole series. I read all 3 of her books, but now I'm drawing a blank. But Girl Wash Your Face is one of them. Books. I have lots of like random ones, like this emotional intelligence one I'm reading right now, but I can't tell you the author.
That's okay.
And I am reading. I have another one on audiobook right now too. It's called
Okay. No wrong answers. Zero wrong answers. And if it's 5 podcasts, I mean, I use Audible like it's my best friend, right? Like I'm not like sitting on the chair reading a book. I charge ADD for that. Yeah. And I want it now, so I'll listen to Audible on like 1.5.
Yeah.
I've listened to Grant Cardone's 10X on 2X. Okay. So I'll do like 20X.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, just give me their good stuff now. Yeah, that's how my brain works. So yeah, no worries. And top 5 fitness tips.
Oh, lifting weights, 100%. Yeah, lifting weights. Going every single day, even if it's like, I even think for me, it's like going on walks or just moving your body. I think we overcomplicate it. Can we just like go on walks or do yoga or stretch? But definitely lifting weights and then drinking more water. It's like, it's so basic. I'm like, we just need to move our body, drink water, eat good food. And I'm a big yogi, so I think everybody should be doing some yoga, and that can look like, physical yoga at the yoga studio. I think that can look like stretching, every day. And I also think that could look like meditation, too. It can be the stillness of quieting your mind, breathing. I like to do it in a physical form more. I mean, I do meditate sometimes, but I'll always try to go to yoga rather.
Love that. Good answers. So we got the mental, we got the physical. And so as we wrap up here, who's your ideal client? How can people find you? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I have, my main platform is Instagram, but I have all of the platforms. So I'm primarily on Instagram. It's Adhesive, and that's EYE, and then HESIVE. I always say like cohesive, but with I. And then, if you have one eye, you're definitely welcome into the community. We have lots of, different spaces for people that have one eye. And then, of course, if you've had a life-altering, I'm really speaking to people that have had these like life-altering injuries, because that is my story. However, I do feel like people with like life-altering experiences or just that resonate with this message and have a story of like adversity, of setback, of like challenges, and want to build a brand, a company, a business, mentor people with their story. Come find us there as well too. I'm like, I just want this whole like movement of people like writing like the greatest comeback story.
Love that. Joy. Yeah, that sounds awesome. I might find some podcast guests there too. So anyone that resonates with that, hit her up, hit me up. And as far as the product, you said you're going to be launching that soon.
Yes.
What can we do for that?
Yeah, so that'll be, I don't have like a launch date yet, but I'm hoping early June. And so, I mean, just like support. It'll be hopefully on Amazon. It'll definitely be on my website and sold through social media, and then hoping to be on Amazon too. We're up against a few little challenges, but we're going to figure it out. But yeah, any support on, spreading the word too, because I think I have had quite a few people in the community that have two eyes, but they're like, oh my gosh, this just happened to my neighbor, had an eye injury, or whatever. So it's like spreading the word that we're here, we exist, and that there's a community.
Well, allied to the one idea.
Yes.
What's that? I'm in. I'm one. That'll be it. And lastly, anything that we left out? Anything you want to say to people out there, either entrepreneurs or recovery or injury or any of the things we talked about we left out?
Yeah, I think this was such an amazing conversation, and I love having these conversations. And I really think, two of the biggest things is like we just always like create our own why. So if you're in a space of like, why did this happen? I know it's easy to be there, and I think we create our own why. And you're able to create that at any point, and that doesn't even have to mean that something bad has happened. Like you're at any moment, it's like, okay, I want a new why or a bigger why or a different why, and you get to evolve into that. And so just allowing yourself to evolve into that next why for yourself.
I love that. You can start over at any time.
Yes.
It doesn't need to be. It's good to have these things that, are catastrophic that you can use, but you don't have to. You can also just choose to be a beginner and start over anytime.
Yeah.
Even in the middle of the day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I'll like get like 11 a.m. I'm like, oh, we're going to start over.
Yeah. That's at the reset button. Yeah. That all happened yesterday. Yeah. That wasn't today. Well, Shelby, what an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming. Guys, make sure you reach out to Shelby. Make sure you follow her and support her. We're doing a lot of big things here in San Diego. Anything I can do to help, please let me know. And that's it for today. See you guys next time.